Okay, super. Hello, everyone. My name is James Curry. I'm a librarian here at the Thomas Hughes Law Business Center. Have the great pleasure to have three wonderful representatives from this New York State Small Business Development Center, including Sonia Smith, who's the State Director of SBDC. Also, Jose Facenza. Sorry, I'm all nervous now with everybody watching me, but and she's also she works at SBDC. She's the research
Library director.
Yeah, library director too, and also Brenda Kalensky. I hope I got that right. She's the assistant director of research at the SBDC. But before I turn it over to themselves, I do have a few housekeeping rules. So the library uses Zoom. We don't own Zoom. Zoom has its own privacy policy that my colleague will shortly put on the chat screen. Please read that section that refers to third-party library service providers to understand how you and the library uses this service. The Q&A feature is enabled, so if you have a question or comment, just put it in there. The chat is not enabled for you guys, just the people that you see on the panel here. Today's event will be recorded and will be sent to everyone within 24 hours, i.e. tomorrow before 8 a.m. And also, last point, closed captioning is enabled for those who need it. So without further ado, welcome so much, you guys. I really, really appreciate you coming on this program, and again, later on in June.
Yep. Thank you so much, James, and a special thank you to the New York Public Library. As James gave the introduction, I am Sonia Smith, the State Director for the New York Small Business Development Center, and the Small Business Development Centers will just talk about how to start, grow, and sustain your business using our services. And so we are a resource that is no-cost, confidential resources to small businesses and entrepreneurs throughout New York State. This is a federal program, so we are a federal partner with the U.S. Small Business Administration, as well as partnered with New York State and institutions of higher education. So we're hosted at institutions of SUNY, CUNY, and then two privates at St. Thomas Aquinas and Pace University. So it's a great pleasure to share the resources and for you to learn more about what's actually in your backyard and in your community and how you can take advantage of that. So I will be giving a high-level overview of the SBDC program, and I don't know if we're showing slides right now, James, or they're going to be provided later. That'll be great if we can.
Okay, do you want me to upload the slides, or Brenda?
Can I just share my screen?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. So I will be sharing about the program. Can you see my screen?
I can see the screen, but no PowerPoint.
It's starting.
It's a little slow.
There we
go. Beautiful. Yep.
Okay. So
presentation mode. Yeah.
Oh, presentation mode. I don't know if it's gonna take it off of this.
If not, we do see it though.
Yep. Sorry about that. So the New York Small Business Development Center, as I mentioned, we're partnered with the federal government as well as state and local institutions. It is a no-cost, confidential, and private service, or a resource, I should say, public service to residents in New York and entrepreneurs and small businesses. So we have advisors across the state that are housed at 20 service centers that provide the technical assistance, which includes advisement, education, and research. So as you will hear later from the ladies, Jose and Brenda, we'll talk about the research component of our services that we provide. The New York Small Business Development Center, as I mentioned, is a nationally accredited and statewide program. We provide the counseling, the training, and research education for you to start or grow your existing business. And on the training aspect, we do provide in-person training as well as virtual and or hybrid offerings, actually, and on demand. And I'll talk about the on-demand offerings we have as well. So those training and content, as well as different speakers series and other resources that we bring into the SBDC program, provide the education from a various of different topics. And that can go from business planning to management concepts to incorporating your business, marketing, various different topics and education, as well as some even sort of certificate programs that we offer throughout the SBDC program throughout our 20 centers. The 20 centers are our main service centers, but we do partner with institutions and nonprofit organizations that are within your community. So we can be at a chamber of commerce or industrial development agency or county agency, as well as the bids in the city. And we also partner with the New York Public Library and do some office hours there. And then the main thing that I mentioned that we'll be talking about later is the research component of our professional librarians that we have that provide research through our databases and subscriptions and work directly hand in hand with our advisors throughout the network. These are some of the various items that we really and services that we provide. As I mentioned, not only just the education side of it, but the advisement. It can go from the idea stage all the way to succession and exit planning. So the whole life cycle of a business, and no matter where you are in your journey, there's an opportunity to get some services and work directly with a partner within your community, which is the Small Business Development Center. Our top industries that we serve any industry, we serve most industries, and I'll go into some of the prohibited businesses and types of businesses that we cannot serve as a federal program. But these are our top industries based on the makeup and the market and needs codes that we have pulled database and information from. Retail, professional services and healthcare, manufacturing, accommodation, food accommodation, food services, and arts and entertainment and recreation. And as I mentioned, we work not only throughout the life cycle, but different business industries as well. Some of our specialty programs, government contracting and certifications, really important if you have a 2-year track record, existing business, looking at certification, whether it's MWBE or MBE. That's through the state and or through the city. I know SBS runs the MWBE program there and the certification, as well as federal opportunities to get certified. And so federal, state, or local certifications can help with marketing yourself as a diverse business. And there's some other certifications for service disabled veterans as well. So there's an opportunity to work with an advisor to learn about that process, learn about the portal, how to apply, go through your whole application, and then hopefully be successful in getting certified, and then understanding how government contracting can be a way to diversify your revenue stream. So that can be contracts and getting connection and doing work with the federal, state, or local government, or even the private sector. So it can be food service, private sector. It can be companies like SUNY as well, and that's on the government side on higher ed, or it can be a program like Verizon, which is a private sector company. Another specialty program that we offer services, technology assistance to small enterprises. And so same thing on the consulting, training, and research aspect, but this is specifically in technology and commercialization, where you're looking at financing, looking at angel groups or venture capitalists to help with the launch or the seed funding for your business. We also look at customer discovery, customer market, your trademark and intellectual property. We partner with the Office of U.S. Trade and Patent as well. And we also have some advisors that are very well knowledgeable into SBIR and STTR, which is the Small Business Innovation Resource and the Small Technology Transfer Resource. And EntreSkills, as I mentioned, we have the in-person as well as virtual and hybrid offerings of education. But then we have a program called EntreSkills, which is on-demand self-paced courses of learning how to start your business or grow your business, but also some business planning writing tools. So it's another resource that we provide to our clients. And the last one I will talk about is the International Trade Program. So this is for another way for clients and small businesses of the SBDC to diversify their revenue streams, looking at markets and global trade. We assist in foreign countries of research, opportunities, evaluating the market, looking at your production, your supply chain, as well as all of the changes in rules and regulations, taxes, and tariffs. So that is another resource through the SBDC. Then the last thing I wanted to mention, as I alluded to earlier, there are some eligible businesses, as we are a federal resource as well. So I know in New York State, a big one is marijuana and cannabis industry, but there are a few other aspects. And so I know James mentioned the library will be distributing these PowerPoint slides. You can have this information about ineligible businesses, but in general, how to connect with the SBDC. And that's it for me. So thank you. And I will pass it over to Jose to talk about research.
Okay, let me just pull up the right screen and let's see.
So this is the research part of our presentation. Good afternoon. I'm glad to be here. My name is Jose Fonseca. I'm the Library Director of the New York Small Business Development Center Research Central. Brenda Kiliansky is our Assistant Director of Research Training and Outreach. She's here with me today, and we're going to walk you through some of how research functions inside the New York SBDC advising model and how it strengthens business decision-making across the state. So Research Central is one of only a handful of dedicated SBDC research libraries in the country. We were founded in 1992, and since then we've provided research support for more than 75,000 clients across New York State. We operate as an embedded research team inside the SBDC advising structure. That means our work is not separate from advising, it directly supports it. So our mission is simple,
Oops, you're right.
And practical. We connect business advisors and clients with the information and knowledge they need to make good decisions and to work effectively. I feel like I lost a slide there somewhere. That can mean validating a market. It can mean testing assumptions. It can mean identifying competitors, benchmarks, ratios, or demographic data. At the end of the day, our goal is making better decisions, is helping businesses make better decisions by that are backed by credible data. So I'm sorry, I skipped this, but we operate out of the central office of the New York SBDC, which is located in Albany, New York, but we are 100% virtual. We have 4 full-time librarians from various experiences in their professional careers. We have diverse backgrounds and varied interests, and we're very committed to the New York small business development community. The structure allows for consistency, efficiency, and depth of expertise across the entire state. So research and advising leads to stronger business decisions. At the New York Public Library, entrepreneurs often take their first steps. They explore ideas, they build skills, they learn the landscape. That early stage exploration is essential. When a client connects with an SBDC advisor, the conversation shifts. The questions become more specific and often higher stakes, so that it's not just, can I do this, but should I do this? Does the market support this? What do the numbers say?
And what's one more?
That is where Research Central becomes an active partner inside the advising process. We provide industry benchmarks, competitive intelligence, financial ratios, demographic segmentation, lending landscape analysis, and local market validation. Exploration becomes strategy. So when a client works with an SBDC advisor, the relationship is ongoing and confidential. Advisors focus on strategy, planning, financial modeling, access to capital, and operational growth. When they need deeper data, they submit a research request to our team. We then deliver a customized research package tailored to that client's business question. The advisor integrates that research directly into their counseling sessions. So how the process works. The process is structured but efficient. An advisor submits a request outlining the client's business model, geography, and specific questions. We clarify the question if we need to. We identify the appropriate data sources, we compile the information, and then we deliver it to the business advisor, most often a concise memo with explanatory notes. The advisor uses that information then to support the business planning, loan applications, investor discussions, etc., with the business owner. So research is not just theoretical, it's practical and often decision focused. They're trying to achieve something in particular that the advisor is helping them through, and we support them in doing that. So to give you a sense of the scope, we handle requests such as identifying local competitors, conducting demographic ring studies, analyzing consumer spending patterns, financial ratios and norms, locating regulatory contacts, trade and academic literature, and reaching business models, that sort of thing. So the common thread is that it's data that reduces uncertainty. So helping the client get to the core of what they're trying to achieve with their business. So we can move now from the why and the how to the actual tools. Brenda is going to show you the specific databases and resources that make this level of analysis possible and how they differ from what is typically available in a public library setting. You may end up back at the NYPL after meeting with an advisor, but hopefully that with direction tailored to your business idea. So Brenda, I hand to you.
Thank you. And I'm better at research than I am moving a PowerPoint forward when somebody else is talking. And I didn't want to miss what you put in there, which was in that slideshow that we're going to provide, is that there were 2 slides back. I think we passed them really quickly where ours are located in New York City. So you will see all of our sites on the 5 boroughs. So I just wanted to let you know about that. So thank you. I will try to give you an idea of why we at Research Central are so special. Not better, but just special in terms of the sources that we have. Because we do have some databases here that nobody else in the state has and that are geared specifically for small business. And our clients love it, our advisors love it, we love it. And it really makes our job so much easier and pleasurable because I think, Jose said, we're committed. We really are committed to, I think, helping our small businesses succeed. And so I think some of the tools that we have will help you do that. As Jose had mentioned before, we have access to small business plans, local economy profiles. We'll talk a little bit about industry associations. I'll get on my soapbox about that, which will make Jose laugh. Traffic data, consumer expenditures. But I want to really start with industry reports in a minute, and also some of the actual databases. These here are the list of our specialized databases here. The ones that are highlighted in bold are the ones I'm going to talk about today. BizMiner, Business Analyst, Business Reference Guide, Crunchbase Fundica, and Vertical IQ. But you'll also notice here that we have other sources, including a lot of New York business journals. And that is definitely a source I want to just lead to real quick. Wherever you're living in the city, Long Island, Albany, no matter what, those are great reference sources. Sometimes that's the only information you're going to find about a particular business. So keep that in mind as a source. If you can access it, this is something that we can get, or New York Public Library will have them as well. So I want to talk a little bit about the industry reports, because I think industry reports are, I would like to say, is the cornerstone of what we do for research. And anytime, regardless of where you are, when you come in as a client, you may be just starting up, or maybe we have a client that's been in business for a while but has a problem they're trying to solve. Those industry reports are really the bread and butter of everything else that goes on. And if we have an industry report, I've divided this up into the industry sectors: retail, manufacturing, leisure, hospitality. But this is just a fraction, and I mean a fraction, of the thousands of industry reports that we can get. If the industry report is the cornerstone, then the brick is NAICS code. And Sonia alluded to this earlier in her presentation. The NAICS code, which is North American Industry Classification System, founded by the Office of Management and Budget, it is the code that is designated in industry where all statistics and all types of data are accumulated. So whether it's at the federal or state level, when we know we have a business, for example, full service restaurants, I know this because I've memorized this code 722511, that I will pull that number, or any of us will pull that number, to get the industry reports, to find out information about wages, employment. All of this is coming under that code. Now, you don't need to know that number, although this is actually a free site on the Census Bureau where you can actually go in and keyword type it. But when you meet with an advisor, if they know where you are after conversation, this is your industry, they will probably put that on your customer profile. If not, it will be something we'll work with later. So you don't have to know it, but it is important for how we do research. So in this case, I went to look for the NAICS code for vending machine operators, which is 445132. And I picked this because this is kind of a trending hot industry that we are seeing in the research in the library every week, I think, or every month. I see the couple across the state. This seems to be a hot industry. I think a lot of people look at this as passive income. I don't think that's what it is, but it's being used, I think, also as a side hustle. So I picked this one because I see it all the time. And so in this case, I'm giving you a scenario. Someone's interested in starting a vending machine business, but they don't know anything about the industry, and they want the most comprehensive analysis, and they mostly want to know, how much is it going to cost me to buy equipment? There's one report, I've listed 5 reports here that we could get industry information on vending machines, but Vertical IQ is by far the most important, I think. I don't work for them, I don't get anything from them, but I'm telling you, they're the best in so many ways. And this is because the not only the amount of information they provide, but in the context that they provide it, it is written for small business entrepreneurs. It's written for the advisors, for researchers who need to know more about the industry while we're doing research. And it's also used by lenders. So if you're interested in getting a small business loan for your industry, it might be a good idea to read this report, because your banker might be reading this too. And so to be on the same page. You'll notice here for vending machines that it has the NAICS code right here, which I've circled. This is a very brief table of contents of some of the major areas they look at: current conditions, industry structure, cash management and financing, financial benchmarks. These reports update almost weekly because of the news items that they pull through. So I almost never repeat these reports unless it's like 2 or 3 in a week. So we're always running these types of reports. What I like is that there's both a mixture of text and image, and so that you can get an understanding. And I mentioned here industry structure. Again, this is not always just for new startups. It's not just for new people thinking about the industry. We get a lot of people sometimes that come in with a problem. They've been a business owner for a while. I mentioned this to just say we've had this problem a couple of times with clients that have been in maybe the food distribution industry, or maybe they're importing foods, spices from Thailand, Sri Lanka, and they say, I've been in business for a year, I can't sell to any of the restaurants. Well, that's probably because that's the wrong structure. The structure is you need to sell to food distributors. And so we can give them a report like this and say, I think you may want to rethink how you're actually doing your business. So these are just really lovely reports. Some of them are quite long. Some go from 40 to 75 pages. But again, the great part is when you get a report like this from us, you're working with your advisor who's going to help you interpret this data. Another thing, we'll talk about profits and operations. You can see here is a breakdown of revenue for vending machines. So right now, most people are still using them for soft drinks, but I've seen it come across in the last couple of months where people are selling toys on a vending machine. They're selling personal care products, you name it. Somebody's going to find something. Hey, I remember the old days when they used to have DVDs, but I'm dating myself now. So the other one, again, this is what was the original scenario. This is the one place where we can get a report that will tell you capital financing and then breaking it down by the types of equipment purchases. When somebody is working with one of our advisors and writing a business plan, this is one of the things that usually gets in a business plan is the equipment purchasing. And what do I need to estimate for? So this is really a great resource. And this is every single industry report usually has something. The larger ones will have it. And Vertical IQ is very good about expanding their base. Before they had, I would say 80%, maybe 75, 80% of all the NAICS codes. Now they said they 100% covered NAICS codes across North America, which is phenomenal. So we love this report. Another reason to like it is if you don't know the business, industry terms. And I like to look at this because I need to know what are the terms I need to do to search deeper on something. But if you don't know the language of the business, this is a great way to start. And then I will digress into this is my soapbox, web links for professional associations. So we can give you the most amazing information from Research Central. The advisors will give you the best advice ever. But if you are not a member of your industry association, you're missing out on a key component of how to work your business. These are people who absolutely they're in the front lines of setting best practices. If there's legislative issues, you can get discounts with insurance and goods and services. We love this. And I'm always, whether the advisor, when I write a memo for a client, I'm always like, and here's the professional association. This is where you can find it. It's one-stop shopping. And we love that about Vertical IQ. Another thing is they have small snapshot local industry data. So I can pull for counties or metropolitan statistical areas for how this business is looking. In this case, this is for the New York metro area for vending machines. So I'll usually pull that one as well. It's usually a 3 to 4 page report that just has information on location and employment and where if it's going up, it's going down. But there's also something also that I will use for more localized information. But Vertical IQ, number one, and nobody in the state has this. And very few people in the country have it because I've been sitting in on some library presentations with other librarians and they're like, I never heard this before. So this is a really wonderful source. So another one that we have is BizMiner. And BizMiner is, and I want to clarify when we do reports and we do packets for our clients, we don't give them one or another. Sometimes we give a lot of different things to complement each other. So in this case, let's say we have a client that's coming in, is interested in opening up a Japanese restaurant in Brooklyn. Is there some information on this report, on something that we can find? Well, where Vertical IQ works at the larger 6-digit NAICS code, and it's the industry as a whole across the country. BizMiner works more locally. So it works best in urban and suburban areas where it actually has more businesses from which they can draw from real life businesses. So I mentioned again the NAICS code. There will be a quiz afterwards, by the way. So there's a 6-digit NAICS code, 722511 for full service restaurants. But if I want to look at ethnic restaurants, and I do think there's a smaller profile in Vertical IQ for ethnic restaurants, but it doesn't designate which ones. With BizMiner, you're going to have the actual breakdown for Japanese restaurants or brew pubs or burger restaurants. I can run a report on that again, and I want it for, in this case, we have to do through Kings County. They don't like Brooklyn, but they say Kings County. So I ran this report for Japanese restaurants, and you'll see here that's the extended NAICS code, the area. And then these are the kinds of things you'll get: market volume, startups, productivity, I'm surprised this is still here. COVID-19 impacts. They probably will start removing that soon. But that is one of the things that you can get from this report, along with a heat map where the locations of these are that they drew from. So it's not only from other reports, but it's actually coming from the businesses themselves. And that's one of the reasons why this reports usually tend to work better in urban areas where there's more to draw from. It's if I have to try to find Japanese restaurant in the middle of the Adirondacks, I have to keep going farther and farther out, and it's probably not going to happen. But these reports are very, very useful, and I use them all the time for our city clients. Also, the difference between BizMiner and Vertical IQ. Vertical IQ is one report with both financials and market data. BizMiner splits it up. So in this case, I pulled a report for a mobile coffee service, which is an extended NAICS code down from a food truck. And mobile coffee trucks are really expanding as well. So I pulled one of these, and you can see this is for the area of, it's Nassau, Suffolk County in Long Island, and I can pull by sales class and get some data there. This is particularly helpful if somebody is interested in also buying or selling a business. So you'll see the terms business valuation multiples come up a lot. And we do get people coming in saying they want to buy a business, sell a business. So this is actually one of those things they'll work with advisors, and those multiples are really helpful. So another one is scenario here. Somebody wants to purchase a Jersey Mike's Subs franchise. Which reports would you request for valuation multiples? What I just spoke about. So I could pull one for in BizMiner, and I could pull one in Vertical IQ, but it would be for the larger NAICS code of a limited service restaurant. But for the actual franchise, Jersey Mike's, there is a database called Business Reference Guide, and I can pull this report, and we get a lot of franchise requests. I think that's starting to happen more and more. So whether it's, Jersey Mike's, ServPro, Ace Hardware, UPS, we get those all the time. And especially the advisors, if they're helping to crunch numbers, like, can you get me this report? Because I need it for this. So we use this. I will still also pull the larger limited service restaurants. So again, business valuations, they come in different shapes and sizes. So I will probably pull multiple reports. We are not greedy here. We are not stingy. We will give you as much information as we possibly can. That's a lot of information on 3 databases. As I said, no quiz at the end, but I am giving you a cheat sheet for what these 3 are. There are 3 databases, Vertical IQ, BizMiner, and Business Reference Guide. I actually created this for the advisors for another presentation a couple of months ago. And it does give you a sense of where they overlap and where the real differences are. So if you decide after this presentation, I'm going to go to PACE and I'm going to talk to somebody about this, you can pull out this presentation and say, this is what she was talking about. And then they can blame me. But it is really, I feel like the more knowledgeable we can make our clients, the better it is for everybody. So I want to do that. Demographic ring studies. Jose alluded to that earlier. And this is something else that we do with a bunch of different databases, including Business Analyst, Esri. We can look, if you're looking at, we'll go back to Brooklyn in a minute, different areas, like we'll say 1.5, 1 mile, 2 miles, or maybe you're looking at zip codes across. We do a lot of zip code comparison in the city as well. I see that in Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, or, larger rural areas will go big. We will look at, demographic and income profiles. We pull those all the time. We will look at consumer expenditures and consumer behavior in an area. So if you're targeting a particular region, we can see how many people are eating. Maybe we can find out how many people are eating Japanese restaurants all the time, or what types of food do they like? How many people are vegetarians? We can also pull traffic studies as well. So drive times and foot traffic. So this is an example of a 3-ring study that I would do, and Jose's already laughing. So this is actually where her alma mater, Pratt Institute, is. And she's laughing because she said, I did it wrong, because this is Brooklyn. And you don't do a 2-mile ring study. This is a 0.51 and 2 mile. It probably, what should it be, Jose? Like, she's going to school me on this.
I'd say 0.2 miles or
Right.
0.5 miles. Very much smaller.
Yeah, I got better at this, but it's very funny because we've had a lot of requests before where somebody's sort of a coffee shop in Brooklyn and they want to know their competitors 20 miles away. And I'm like, that's like Passaic, New Jersey. I don't think that's your competitor. So we're like, narrow it down, narrow it down. But we will do just the opposite in rural areas. And I've done a lot of requests for our folks up in the Watertown region. And when I'm talking to an advisor and they said, we want to look at 40, 50 miles out. Like, yeah, people drive that far for a restaurant. So that's acceptable. So we will be careful to tailor for the needs of the geography and what's important. So this is what a 3-ring would look like. And then I would pull data from all of these, and then you would see it in like different graphs, which we love. Another thing I want to briefly mention is our local economy reports. This is also from Vertical IQ. It's a separate report. They usually run about 10 to 15 pages. We do this for counties and metropolitan statistical areas. I just pulled a ton of these last week for a client up in the North Country that I think was an architect, and he wanted to look at home sales and the trends. And there's a whole segment on home sales for every county that's really up to date. So there are different things that I'll use it for, but the other thing that I happen to like, and it will show you, this is for Bronx, employment and unemployment and the local business dynamics. But my favorite part here is the SBA lending piece of it. And there's information here on how much lending the Bronx has had in the last 20 years. It will tell you the top industries where the lending took place. And I found it was interesting. So the first one is supermarkets and other grocery retail, hotels, coin-operated laundries, which is huge everywhere, pharmacies, and office of physicians. But also important, not only for you, but for advisors, is who are the lenders? Who are the top lenders in the Bronx? And this is a pretty new feature. They only started adding this, I think, about 6, 7 months ago. So we really like this feature as well. And then we have traffic count maps, and people like this. This is from our business analyst ESRI database that we use. The New York State Department of Transportation has a traffic data monitor, but it freezes all the time. And so we kind of have decided, let's not use it anymore. But we like this. This is actually downtown Albany. And this is, I think, a 1.5 mile, 1 and 1 mile. So not as busy as Manhattan, but it still has some traffic. And we can get it in different versions. We can get the bigger picture. We can get the close-up from just that first half mile, and then the traffic count profile through the intersections over time. So it's a lot of places like restaurants love this. They want to see, what's the traffic for this area? Is it good? Is it worth putting here, or should I go somewhere else? And we get that. Lastly, money. Everybody wants money, and we can't promise anything, but we can help at least get you on the pathway with a couple of databases that we use. And Jose and I were talking earlier today, and I said Crunchbase. I don't think anybody but our New York clients use Crunchbase, except for our one in Southern Tier, Binghamton, because this is really a place where you can find angel investors, micro VCs, pre-seed, seed incubators. And we get this for any kind of industry. It doesn't have to be sci tech or biotech. We've had it for the fashion industry. I'm not sure what else we've been pulling, but pretty much for anything, it's come through. And so we can pull these lists with contact information that we can tailor to your requests. And the other one is Fundica. And I like Fundica. This is more for grants and tax credits and incentives and loans. But it allows us, I think, a little bit more tailoring. We can pull your based on where the zip code of your business is located, who you are, what type of business is it, an LLC, sole proprietorship. Also, who are the shareholders? Are you a woman? Are you a veteran? What are you trying to do with this money? Are you trying to purchase equipment? Are you trying to improve the environment? We can pull all those factors together and try to tailor that as much as possible, and then come up with a list of grants and tax credits. And it will usually have the dates of when things are, with a deadline for these things as well. And I know our client, we have quite a few advisors also in the city that love Fundica. They ask for it by name now, so we provide that as well. So I think I've talked enough. I will just say that we are here for you. We have the pulse of New York State business. We kind of know what is happening, the trends, the industries that are moving forward, certainly that come across the research queue, the ones that are falling off the cliff. I think we see this every single day. And we also just really care about making sure that our clients succeed. So we hope to see your research requests come through. And that's it. Anybody wants to add?
No, thank you all. James, I don't know if you want to.
So thank you so much for a very, very, very comprehensive review of what you guys do. It's amazing what some of these databases, we have a lot. You guys have exceptional ones, so I may be calling you, but that's another story for a different day. But no, it's great to actually figure out what we all have. We're all here to help other people
Absolutely.
who are small business. So what you can find in one place is like a supermarket, you go to the next supermarket in small business advisory or the business center here. We do have, I think I just saw a question that came in, but maybe I didn't. Oh yes, that's we're sharing. Yep, Sonia, you're quicker than me.
I got them both. Yes, I answered both questions.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, for anyone that's looking for assistance, as Brenda stated and Jose, the advisors will be your first point of contact. So the information, the website, the PowerPoints, and all the materials will have, the slides will have the hyperlinks. You can go to the website to look for an SBDC that's closest to your location, whether it's your address you're using, your business location, or your residence. And based on that information, you will be assigned to a center and an advisor. So that will be your first point of contact. They will meet with you, go over your business needs, whether it's idea stage, startup, or an established business, to assess kind of where you are and then some of the resources that they can offer you.
Definitely. And one of the things that you had mentioned before is that the SBDC, the Pace University Division, actually comes here on site and gives advisory services to those people who want to meet here in person. And I personally have done a lot of work with Patrick and Vanessa up in the Bronx. So they're incredible people in many ways. And I'm so happy and very proud to know them. I lived in the Bronx 6 years, but that's another story for a different day. But you know, what they do and what they, you know, to do for, you know, business and business opportunities, growing a business up in the Bronx and up here in Manhattan, Fort Worth, Pace, and Baruch too, right? Baruch has services too. Yep.
Staten Island.
And Staten Island. Now, when it comes to Queens, it's is it LaGuardia?
Correct. LaGuardia and York.
And York, yes. Okay, I pass it every day, York, on Long Island Railroad. So, and then when it comes to Staten Island, what's Staten Island's area? Is that?
So they have the part of Brooklyn. It's like lower Brooklyn, but Staten Island. And they are at the College of Staten Island. That's what.
Okay, super. Yep. So for a lot of people that, and even those people that are tuning in on the replay, you know, if you live in Albany, you live in Westchester or not Bergen County, Rockland County in New York, there's a local SBDC in that vicinity. So, and if you want to sort of schedule an advisory service, you do go to your website first, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And then you fill in all the criteria and then they assign you an advisor. Is that the way it goes?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So depending on where you are in the state, whether it's in Rochester or New York or Montauk, Long Island, anywhere in between, you'll be assigned an advisor. And the beauty of all this, it's all free. And the biggest caveat to that is the business has to be for profit, correct?
There is nonprofit if it, and that's outlined in my ineligible business aspect, but your business advisor will assess. So it can be a nonprofit that is contributing to the economic development of their community. So for instance, a church that has a daycare, that's like the perfect example. So yes, there's some leeway there depending on how it's structured.
Very good. And two of the things that Brenda and Jose had mentioned previously was that, I mean, I was shocked to hear, and it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, between laundromats and vending machines. Yeah. You know, those are things that were very, well, at least vending machines were very, very popular years ago. But now, of course, they're entering a whole new marketplace. I actually was able to go to a company recently at the end of last year, and it's a company out of Switzerland or Italy. It's called Felfel. So it's a company that is very big in the European market space, but is actually expanding here in the US. So, and it's geared towards private companies and using a credit card to access the food, et cetera, et cetera. So there is so many opportunities out there, and there's so many different resources. And that's the reason why we, library, love to put on programs like this to educate, inform. EI is the new AI, educate and inform. But I really want to say thank you so much for a great program today. Sonia, Brenda, and Jose, you guys are great. Looking forward to having back part of the team in June. And so stay tuned for that. And I just want to say thank you so much. And you guys are always welcome to give me a call if you need anything.